24 and Big Brother's Big Mouth and like various sort of Channel 4 shows as well, where I was there with a sort of spiky hair and affecting a Cockney accent because I didn't want to sound posh. When I first started out, was getting their validation, and certainly my dad. I feel like that's probably why I ended up becoming a comedian, is because he just didn't laugh at anything. And he's always been like an inward laugher, and he's got a great sense of humor, but he's just never bothered to tell his face. I worry now that comedy is going to cease being a tool to mass deception because of the traitors and Alan Carr.
Yeah,
like
that's a big issue.
He's done us dirty.
Jack Whitehall, it's very good to see you.
It's lovely to be here. It's
Are
lovely
you
to
well?
see you. Yeah, I think I am well.
I mean, you're in a really busy bit of promoting this excellent new TV show that you're in. So I'm imagining life is chaotic?
Yeah, quite chaotic. And yeah, sort of trying to balance that. I just finished a shoot as well.
A thriller?
A thriller, yeah.
What was that like?
Thriller. Yeah, a thriller was great. It was really fun to do something completely different and play, a character that I could really kind of lose myself in, and not
a character
just
that
do
again is
an extension of myself.
Okay. Well, I mean, when we talk about Malice in a moment, that's definitely not you.
No, yeah.
Adam is a very different character. In this thriller, are you playing a bad person, a bad guy?
In what?
In the thriller now, the new movie you've just shot. Whatever.
Oh
you've
no!
just done.
Oh yeah, that one. No, that's a horror film.
That's a horror film.
That's a horror film, and that I played. I played like an American guy that was in the military, and it's quite straight as well. So I'm not, again, like cracking gags, which is really weird for me because I always want to just try and like find a little joke here or fall over something, and
you
they're
can't.
like, it's not that
not
type
in a horror
of film. You're meant to just look scared.
I can't watch horror.
No, I'm not a big horror person, but I do like it when it's done like really well and it's sort of elevated. You know, like Weapons. Did you see that movie?
I cannot watch
great.
anything remotely scary.
No.
Nope.
No, you
cannot.
don't like a jump scare?
No, I don't like any scare because I won't sleep,
Yeah.
and I've already got like a bunch of shit I have to do before bed, like checking that I have to touch all the hobs about 8 times. I have to check all the windows a lot. I have to check all the a whole thing. If I'd then been freaked out watching a film, that would be checking under all the beds and the cupboards. I haven't got the time.
Yeah. I'm quite like you, and if I watch something and I get that feeling, I then have to sort of palate cleanse by watching something else. So I'll stick on like, some Love Is Blind or something.
Right.
Well, maybe not Teletubbies. I went more just sort of reality television or something that I can use
Below
to
Deck.
just like cleanse. Yes, exactly.
Cleanse with Below Deck.
Yeah, with Below Deck. But then I get too aroused, and then I need to cleanse again, and then I find Teletubbies. All roads lead to Teletubbies, yeah.
They really do.
I also watch horror movies, and I do that thing where I know a scary bit's coming, and I just do that.
Oh,
which,
yeah.
as a grown man, is a little undignified.
I just think like life is already stressful enough, and the news is a horror show.
Yeah.
I haven't got the capacity for more horror.
So what is your go-to then? To
Either factual, I can imbibe, as long as that's not like horrific.
Okay, so you won't go true crime and making
I can
a
do
murderer.
I'm very niche. I can do true crime podcast, but not TV show.
What?
Yeah, because
Really?
then I can sort of filter.
Imagine it less horrific.
Yes, correct. I'm such a freak.
Yeah.
I've just realised. But TV-wise, it's got to be factual and like inspiring. I love kind of like a sports documentary. I'm like, yeah, this is inspiring. There's hope in it, or there's challenge. Or
But
a movie.
not about like an NFL guy shooting his wife.
That again would be on the no list.
That's on the no list.
That's
on
the
the
no
naughty
list. Naughty list.
He's definitely on the naughty list.
Completely.
Yeah.
Or just something sort of benign, mildly romantic / funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That I'm into. Or, this is a great segue, Malice, perfect for me. There's an element of, it's got thrill and what's going to happen next and, this is a bit dodgy, but there's nothing that's going to stop me from sleeping.
Yes, that's
true. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think so. I think the only thing I would say that it would be problematic for is if you were in the process of hiring a nanny, which I was when I was making it, and I found quite disturbing. And I imagine anyone that watches it is then going to find it quite difficult if that's something that they're then having to do in their real life, because you probably would be a little bit spooked.
No shit. I mean, are you sat there looking at this person's CV, like fact-checking everything?
It was like I was vetting someone to join the CIA. The level of questioning. I was like, so please can you tell me about your relationship with your family, and what do you like when you're in the presence of animals, and look at these Rorschach tests and tell me what you see when you look at these images. It was very thorough. But
It's
actually,
bad timing.
probably you should be that thorough as well.
Anyway.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of the moral of the whole show of Malice,
Yeah.
is that, we sometimes are willing to maybe put our children into the care of people that we don't know everything about. That's a big leap of trust.
Yes, let's talk about Adam, your character in Malice. He's a sinister little bastard.
Yes, he
Yeah, I
is.
bet that was fun to read through that script and go, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was also kind of disturbing that the showrunner thought of me, and I think thought of me right from the get-go. It was like, I think you'd make a really good, evil sociopath.
That's probably because you've got a kind face, and that's an interesting combination. You've got like a cheeky kind face.
Cheeky, kind face,
Yeah.
but an inner darkness, maybe. Or a void at the centre of my soul.
I've never detected that, but do
No.
you think you have?
No, I don't think I do, but I do think people have this assumption with comedians that we're
Yeah.
all sad clowns and that there is an inner darkness and that we're trying to make people laugh because at our core it's rotten. And so I think maybe that's why people are more accepting of comedians suddenly doing darker material, maybe.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about this, and there doesn't seem to be. You just, you were brought up in a funny household. You got
Yeah.
this comedy was commonplace, so of course you're going to lean on that in
Yeah.
all situations.
Yeah, and I think maybe I've shot myself in the foot a little bit there, because if I'd maybe not talked about my life so extensively and been so open about it, if there had been some mystery, then maybe people could have projected that onto me. But because they can't, I've slightly ruined it.
No, I think it's great. And also acting's a whole other, like, stand up, you're in control there, but acting, it's wherever you want to take it, I guess. And I suppose with Adam, that was great fun for you, doing something completely different and showing a whole other side to yourself. What was it like? I mean, this is such a great show, and you're with this amazing cast. Walking onto the set for the first day, David Duchovny's there. I'm a bit older than you, but he's very much our era of like Californication, X-Files. He was it. I loved watching him on TV growing up. Was that unnerving walking onto set for the first time and you're like face to face with this guy?
Yeah, definitely. And I think those experiences I always find way more intimidating than, say, stand-up, which I think people find a bit weird, because it's like stand-up, I'm so used to doing it, I've done it for so long, and I feel so in my comfort zone when I'm doing it that I very rarely feel any nerves if I'm walking out on stage, even if it's in front of 20,000 people. It doesn't make me scared anymore. But doing something like that, where I'm really out of my comfort zone and I'm doing a drama and I'm playing a different type of part and I'm doing a scene with someone like David, who's really experienced and knows what he's doing and like comes really ready and prepared to set, and who's really thought about the material, like in those environments, then I do genuinely have the voice in the head and the imposter syndrome and the fear that I'm not going to be able to kind of like pull my weight. So yeah, I was nervous to go to work every day, but the sort of flip side of that is I think those are the best experiences and the most rewarding ones, is when you're feeling really challenged and you're working really hard at it, and I found it, a really rewarding show to do, just because I was feeling at times kind of out of my depth and really, sort of pushing myself.
I agree. I think the jobs that I have in the future that I mildly dread, I want to say, are usually the ones where I feel such a sense of achievement afterwards, because the dread is actually disguising fear. It's kind of just going, you don't want to do this. This looks awful. This is going to be a terrible thing. But actually, inside, I'm going, I'm really shitting myself.
Yeah.
But the relief the other side
Yeah.
and the sense of achievement is great.
Yeah. And it makes you. I really like. I worked very hard on this and did lots of research and prep and worked with like an acting coach and did lots of rehearsal with the director, and I was also for the first time really playing a competent character. Like everyone else that I play is incompetent. I play lots of fools and idiots who can't do anything and they just like say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, falling over all of the time, and that's quite easy to do. And playing a character that was meant to be able to cook and flare cocktails and Greek dance, and he could speak different languages and knew about Greek tragedies, and so I had to learn all of these skills, and it was a really heavy lift. I was like, it's so much easier just turning up and like just playing in a comedy, improvising sometimes.
Are you almost an expert in classics now?
I would say definitely not.
Okay.
Still, definitely not.
You were very convincing.
Yeah, I was convincing.
Yeah.
David is, though, again,
Really?
really well read and very intelligent and like, went to Harvard and is very, very thoughtful. He's intimidatingly intelligent.
Yeah, he just seems like a great guy. I'm glad that you're confirming that for us. It's a good thing.
Loves hilarious British television though as well. Like,
yeah,
really
I can
got
see
into,
that.
Like, catchphrase and
catchphrase.
Yes, he was obsessed with catchphrase. Every day we would wrap filming, and he would like literally bolt to the car so that he could get home for catchphrase. He was like, "Oh, it's great with little Mr. Chips," and he comes and he does
Stephen Mulhern
He
presenting.
genuinely said, "Stephen Mulhern, that guy, he's got so much talent."
Stephen is gonna freak out.
David Duchovny loves Stephen Mulhern.
Sorry, that's an exclusive.
Yeah.
I didn't know what today's chat was going to be like, but that is something I was not anticipating.
Yeah, he's obsessed.
He likes catchphrase. I mean, it's very watchable.
It's
like
very watchable.
that. I would put in the same sort of category as You've Been Framed. That's not obviously still on, but I used to love watching that. Like an easy watch. A laugh.
Yeah.
Maybe you're using your brain slightly more with catchphrase.
Yes.
There's an element of that. I'm imagining David's very good at it.
Maybe. Yeah, well, no, because he's British. It's British phrases. So he doesn't know any of the phrases as well.
So he's learning on the job.
It's such a hard watch that you're watching this show, and he loved it, but he didn't understand any of the answers. No. Even when they reveal the catchphrase, he's like, "Yes, it's just not something that I say."
No, because our catchphrases are nonsensical and like sometimes
spanner in the
hundreds
works.
of years. Yeah, what is
and
that?
I had to explain that to him at length, and he didn't even understand what a spanner was. It was like, you're not going to get it.
What do they call a spanner in the States?
A spanner, they call it not a clutch.
A wrench?
A wrench.
Right, of course.
And they don't have spanner in the works. And they have another phrase.
So you're teaching David stuff too.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. Your dad obviously was famously an agent for actors for years. Does he come to you and give you advice or give you a critique after a job like Malice?
He doesn't give me critique. I mean, he used to be quite hands-on in terms of like, helping me pick roles and help sort of guide my career, and he still does to an extent. Like, he read the scripts for Malice and really liked them, and thought it was a really good project, and so he definitely influenced my decision in signing up to do it. And he's not as involved as he used to be, but he's definitely thus far been really great as a sort of person to go to and sort of seek advice, because he's got good taste and good instinct, and he's also been very helpful, I think, in the past. He said one of the most important things that he always said to his clients was like, it's as much about the jobs that you don't do as the jobs that you do, and it's important knowing when to say no, and some things will feel like they're enticing and they'll be easy and they'll pay well, or and you should just interrogate them and make sure that it's the right thing for you to be doing. So he's often been really good at that as well. Sometimes I probably ignored his advice and regretted it.
That's the job of a child. That's what we all do, is rebel against our parents. Yeah. But it's very, very good advice, I think, especially when you've talked about this previously, having workaholic tendencies.
Yeah.
I certainly do too. I think, especially in this weird industry that we work in, obviously I'm in a slightly different area of it to you, but it's always sort of pushed upon us that it's a very competitive arena, and that you almost can't say no, that somebody else will step in, fill your shoes quite easily. So all of us are slightly like, oh my God, I'm never going to work again. Or you turn down one job, or you do something wrong, then you're absolutely screwed. Is part of that drive fear, would you say?
Definitely. And I wish I was better at that. I wish I was better at just being able to sit in those moments when you're not working and still engage your mind creatively, but like just not be worried about the next thing and be terrified that you're never going to work again, because that is the nature of this. It is feast and famine.
Yeah. And
I think I definitely fall foul of allowing that mentality to take over, where you're like, that's it, there'll be no more jobs now.
Same.
I'm going to be unemployed for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I mean, that fear, I think, I don't even know if it's half. There's a portion of my drive that is due to excitement, and I creatively want to feel fulfilled, and I love having ideas and seeing them come to life. But then there's another portion over here, which is definitely, I could have 3 days with nothing in the diary, and I'm like, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm on the downward spiral now. I don't know what I need to think of something.
Old husk now.
Completely. Yeah.
In my pajamas,
totally.
watching catchphrase.
Watch with David Duchovny. No, I do think it is a terrifying thought, and maybe we're very, very, very lucky that that's because we love our job and we just want to keep doing it. The thought of not doing it is pretty horrific.
Yeah.
It's scary shit.
Yeah.
So how do you get that balance? How do you, take heed of your dad's advice, say no to certain things? Can you switch off entirely and just kind of be?
Well, yes, but I think slightly my problem is that because I have a few different sort of strands to what I do, it means whenever I'm not doing one of them, I'll then just shift focus and suddenly become obsessed with doing the other thing. So if I'm ever like not working for if that 3 days happened to me, I'd be like, I need to get on stage. I need to go and do a stand-up gig. I need to be a stand-up comedian again. I need to write some jokes I haven't written. And then that'll sort of take over. But I've definitely got better at it the last couple of years. Now I'm a parent. I think enjoying those the times of like rest and being present at home and maybe trying to have some proper focus on that and realizing that that's where I'm actually getting my energy and joy from. So it's definitely shifted in the last couple of years.
Yeah. How are you finding that juggle? Because I know before you had kids, there was slight worry that you didn't want to be scheduling in, and this is my family time. You wanted to have enough room for it just to be, a normal part of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. And it's always hard, though. It's always a bit of a balance when you're like when you are working, especially when I was doing Malice, because it was so intense. And I was doing, days where I'd go to set and film me like, murdering someone and dumping a body in the Thames or having an orgy. Nice. And then you've got to come home at the end of the day and switch off and, do bath time and bedtime. And the woman in the Times in the review of Malice said, would you want to see Bob Mortimer strangling a cat? No, that's not what Bob Mortimer exists for. And the same is true of Jack Whitehall.
Oh, wow. I mean, I think that's a compliment.
Yeah. I mean, technically it's a compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, technically you can take that as a compliment. So, yeah.
I think we have to look at glass half full here and just say it very much is. But yeah, I think it's a crazy juggle, like just the high octane life that you're leading and then going back to parenthood, which is, as we all know, completely mundane at times. You do the same thing, especially with a toddler. Yeah. It's a lot of mundanity. Yeah. How are you finding that? If you've got a busy brain, I've got a busy brain, that can be tricky.
Yeah, it is, and it is tricky. But I also think it's great because it sort of pulls you out of your own nonsense in a way that's really like
it's grounding,
amazing and grounding and joyous, and you're suddenly just like playing some silly game or chasing them around the sitting room, and it's really good. It's such a nice way to like decompress and switch off, and being present with Elsie is just the best thing in the world, and it really kind of allows you to like block everything else out in such a glorious way. So that's one of the huge advantages of being a parent and having a relationship with your child, and just sort of leaning into that as being the most important thing. It's great.
Definitely. I find it completely grounding, especially with my nearly 13-year-old son who, I could do one of these, come home and think, I did a great job there, like really chuffed with myself, and then I'll make him some dinner and he'll go, I'm not eating that. And I'm like, oh, yes, I am an idiot, as I had forgotten I'm just a complete moron. He is a constant reminder that I'm actually just an idiot, quite frankly. Don't get too big for your boots. Did your dad like Malice?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And he said some really nice things about it. And so, he's someone whose sort of opinion I still really value very, very highly. So it's always great when something is passed the sort of Michael Whitehall test. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is often when you're in this job, I still think this about maybe both my parents actually, is that there is still a bit of you that is, even when you're in your 40s, wanting to get validation from your parents. Doesn't matter how successful you are, how old you are. Yes, some of it is because you want feedback from everybody else, but there is still that. And it might not be for people listening. It could be, someone at school that bullied them, or a teacher that said they wouldn't, do well. But it can very often be your parents that you're still trying to get that level of validation from.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for me, like that was always the case. Like when I first started out, was getting their validation. And certainly my dad, I feel like that's probably why I ended up becoming a comedian, is because he just didn't laugh at anything. And he's always been like an inward laugher, and he's got a great sense of humour, but he's just never bothered to tell his face. Yeah. And so just I was always, I think, just trying to get him to crack a smile, and that's what happens if you have a father with that face. Then you become a stand-up comedian.
That's so great.
Yeah.
But growing up in that sort of household where comedy is, omnipresent and it's something you perhaps lean on, would you say it was quite a good tool for maybe diffusing conflict or for, jollying yourself if you were having a tough time? Was it used quite liberally like that?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, comedy is a great tool for all of those things and many other things. I worry now that comedy is going to cease being a tool to mass deception because of the traitors and Alan Carr.
Yeah, that's a big issue.
He's done us dirty because we could use it to just distract from anything, and now I think people are going to suspect us all.
We've seen
we've been sussed out. We're never going to be able to lie again.
No, you're fucked.
Yeah.
It's a terrible shame.
Yeah, it's really exposed how it can be used for deception.
Yeah. Do you still use it now, would you say? If, I don't know, whether it's to diffuse embarrassment or to...
Oh, yeah.
Just,
or an argument. If you don't want to have an argument or you don't want to have any conflict, just try and turn it into a joke. Just try and turn anything into a joke, or in your, when you're, in any sort of stressful situation, I'll try and deploy it.
It's handy.
I mean, there's moments where obviously you shouldn't use it. Like, immigration in the airport. Like, that's a time where it's just never use it.
No, it's
Even
never welcome.
If you think it will diffuse an awkward interaction, it's just they don't want to joke. They never want to joke.
They've not got the time or the inclination.
Quite
frankly, no. I mean, I think it's a very handy tool. I should have remembered that this morning on the school run where it was just a fucking shit show again. Just every school run is a shit show.
Yeah.
And I sort of forget humour.
Yeah.
Forget it in those moments, and then I regret it.
Yeah.
It's so needed. Would you say it's...
A well-timed fart. And it would all diffuse.
Just anything. I was just such a grumpy old cow this morning. Are there times where you use it to stop yourself looking at something you should look at, or from feeling a feeling? Is it ever used as a bit of a buffer when actually you could do with looking at the serious nature of things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think probably it is. And there are moments where you probably one should be a little bit more serious or try and engage in a more constructive conversation rather than just trying to deflect or make light of a situation, for sure. But it's hard to know until it's too late. Yeah,
it is. But I think it's just something that we all lack a bit. We just need to have more moments of belly laughter, and it's like the best feeling ever. And that's why stand-up is just still so hugely successful. We see comedians in this day and age playing in stadiums because we need a break from our reality.
Oh,
we need to go and sit and watch something that's going to make us really belly laugh.
Yeah.
What makes you laugh? Is it, stand-up comedy? Does that get you anymore?
Yeah. It's still love watching stand-up comedy and great kind of sitcoms and I love comedy and I love it as I think that is it is this great form of escapism, and as you say, like in the sort of bleak times that we live in, it is a wonderful thing to be able to go and, for a night, especially like if you are exhausted and you're being moody doing the school run and you get this opportunity to just outsource it, get someone else to put in the effort and make you laugh for an hour and a half. And so I think that's the great joy of comedy.
I mean, you went from obviously being in this family where you see the acting world, you see that whole sort of entertainment business around you. You specifically chose to start with stand-up. It's quite a harsh, it's a brutal entry into that entertainment world because your feedback is instant. Unlike TV. Now, I started on TV, but there was no social media. So when I was a kid, I didn't know if I was good, terrible, if people liked me, didn't like me. I just did it and then went home and hoped for the best that I continued to have a job. But with stand-up, the reaction is so instant. How was that initially to kind of get that level of feedback, good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, I think because I started so young, I was quite resilient and thick-skinned for some reason. I don't know why. I think it was just like I was just probably quite cocky, and I don't know, like thought, I don't know, that maybe there was a slight naivety as well, that I was doing it and that I was getting better, even though it maybe wasn't going quite as well as I thought it was in my head. But yeah, maybe you have to, because the first gigs always don't go that well, you do, and then you sort of gradually improve. I don't know. I wasn't deterred by dying on stage,
which is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know many people that would pick themselves back up from that instantly and think, I'm going to do that again.
Yeah. But there has to be some kind of weird cognitive disconnect, because it's not natural. It's not natural to go up and tell jokes and seek the approval of an audience and not get it and be fine with that. That is something. The wiring is slightly off. But
it's an amazing bit of resilience.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, because I find it now as well. It is great. Like when you go and like I had this experience recently where I went and did this award show where I died. I literally died. Every joke. Nothing.
Why were they just a flat audience? What's going on there?
No, it was I mean, it was quite a hard context. It was, I mean, you probably saw me when I used to do the fashion awards.
Yeah.
Tough room.
Yeah, real tough crowd.
But I sometimes was able to like milk a little bit out of that audience.
It's people sort of chatting with each other. Yeah. They're a bit pissed. They're sort of not bothered about anything going on around them. So you've got to really get their attention.
And they're all looking at each other, and you know, it's Anna Wintour in the front row. It's a tough crowd. And I did that for like 5 years. And anyway, one of the people that was there thought that I'd done a good job, and so he booked me to do this jewelry awards in Monaco, which I went and hosted.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, what am I going to talk about at jewelry awards? And it was the week of the Louvre heist. So I was like, great, that's my monologue. Ideal. I'll just do a load of Louvre jokes. And so I turned up, and it was in this like ballroom in Monaco, black tie. Everyone was French and French speaking. I was the only person on stage speaking in English, which they hadn't told me before. And I was like, I probably should have like maybe translated some of this into French, because they're gonna get it. And they were like, oh no, it's fine. They're multilingual. They're very intelligent. They'll understand it. And I had an ominous feeling before I went out, but it's kind of too late by that point. And then the woman that went out before me was like that Anna Wintour of jewelry, and she gave a long speech in French that subsequently I found out she talked about the Louvre heist and how it was one of the greatest tragedies to ever befall the people of France, and that the nation would rally together and get through this difficult moment. And then it was like, and ladies and gentlemen, Jack Whitehall. And then I came on in like a high-vis vest with a load of prop jewelry I brought on Shein and did a load of heist jokes. And like it was 10 minutes of jokes like, wow, this feels like we're at Ocean's 11. But hey, there's not going to be 2 heists in a week, is there?
Oh,
and
no.
Silence, tumbleweed. And then you got to keep coming back out. You got to keep coming back out because you're there for 2.5 hours.
I feel sick for the past version of you then to do that.
But then again, I sort of like, I got to the end of it and I got through it and I was fine. I was like,
what is that about?
I don't know. And there's something really, like, I don't know, something gives you, like, having that resilience to not care.
I want that. How do I get that? I
think it has to happen a lot of times. Maybe that's what has to happen. You have to do it quite a few times. Because
I don't need to get a laugh. Do you know what I mean? I could host an awards thing. And obviously, you might want to get 1 or 2 laughs, but I'm certainly not there to be funny. You're there to just make it a seamless event. And if that happens, great. And obviously I've had flops where you do an award. Those award things are the pits. I hate doing them. I so rarely do them just because of that. It probably is the feeling that you don't mind. I cannot live with if things have gone badly. Or even if I've done. I mean, it's been very rare. It'd have to be a guest that really doesn't like speaking. But something like this, where you feel like, it could have been better, or it's just a bit off, or I wasn't on my A game. That does not sit well with me. I will probably feel a bit weird all day. I'll be overthinking it and I won't be able to sleep because I'll be playing it over in my head and correcting all the bits that went wrong. It will plague me for yonks. It's the worst. Or on radio, when I used to do live radio, you say all sorts of stupid shit by mistake, and then you literally wake up at 4 a.m. a month later. You don't have that.
Well, I think I don't have it anymore, just because I've
You've
done it so many. I've exhausted it, and I don't have the emotional capacity anymore to like let it like get me really down. It's like
So
the Brits,
interesting.
I've done the Brits like 5
Yeah.
times, which is a really tough room.
Tough gig.
And there's moments where you're doing jokes and no one is listening to you, and you can just see everyone like drunk at their tables having conversations amongst each other, and then you're just sort of this like separate entity in the corner of the room, like desperate for their attention. I think maybe the first couple of times at the end I was like, oh God, was that all right? And there was some stuff that just didn't land at all, and then by the 5th time that I did it, I was like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of doing it for the audience at home as much as the people in this room, and they all seem like they're having a good night.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not ruining their night,
No.
then it's fine.
How does it not impact your confidence in the moment? Because I think that's the thing that I would find very tricky doing a gig like the Brits, where you're not getting that reaction
Yeah.
that you want, that it's not in real time impacting your level
Yeah.
of self-esteem.
Well, maybe it is on some level. But I always think, don't know who gave me the advice, but it's like, it sounds so brutal. It's like advice with comedy is don't let them taste blood. Like, you just have to make sure that you look like you know what you're doing,
Right.
even if it's going badly. Never, like, if you do a joke and it doesn't land, never reference that it hasn't landed. Just like
Right.
forge on, and like, because if you have confidence, then that's like half the battle.
Yeah.
And like the minute you start wavering and looking like you don't know what you're doing and start referencing things that didn't land as well as you thought they might land, you can it can still work, and you can still, you know, maybe win the room back, or some stuff will. The minute you start going, oh God, that didn't work, or oh, you don't like me, then you're in trouble, and it's you're dead. So you've got to just like, I don't know, like forge through, and there's moments like, especially when you're doing those like live shows where you think something hasn't landed, but actually it I don't know, just like you didn't hear as big a laugh as you thought it was going to get, but it's actually something that people did enjoy, and they just, you know, it was just a Michael Whitehall laugh where they internalized it.
An inner laugh.
Yeah.
No, I think that's so true. There's nothing worse than watching, if you're either watching one of those big things like the Brits at home on the TV, or you've gone to stand up and you know that person isn't fully committed.
Yeah.
You can tell, you feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
unsafe. I'm sort of like praying for them as
worried
I'm
for them.
watching. Yeah, like panicking.
Yeah.
But you're so right. If you see someone's got that level of confidence and they're unstoppable, you're like, well, we're in safe hands. This is all fine, even if it's not landing.
Yes. Like, I think in France, when I was doing in Monaco, when I was doing that show, I think maybe it was fine, because by the end of the night, because they didn't speak English, wasn't their first language, and they maybe weren't like getting all of the jokes, and probably a lot of them didn't know who I was. There is a world where by the end of the evening, some of them just didn't think it was ever meant to be funny. They just thought, oh, this guy's like a presenter,
jewelry expert.
and I guess he's quite slick, and he's saying these things, and none of them I'm laughing at. It's just sort of information, like useless information, but he's kind of, there's a confidence to him, and everything sort of ran on time, and he introduced everyone when they were meant to be introduced, and said their names correctly, albeit mispronouncing quite a few of them. And like, he knows what he's doing, and so maybe that's why it was actually fine.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'd gone, oh God, that didn't work, and why aren't you laughing, then it would have been a complete car crash.
Yeah.
So maybe just forge through, and you can get away with it.
I think we need to just do that in life more.
Yes.
Because I think so often other people, whether it's in the work environment or even in like friendships, they feel unsafe or uncertain because they're picking up your cues that you are sort of flailing. Are you as confident in outside of work?
No,
would you
I
say?
used to have a routine about that. I used to love it. I did a routine which was like, it was like, get it wrong, got to be strong, which was just about powering through the awkward moments and not allowing it to look like you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
I can't. But I think there's definitely some truth to that.
Yeah.
It's like it can be quite. I mean, it's very one thing saying it, and then one thing actually enacting it in real life.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Embarrassment is like, I hate being embarrassed. I really don't like it. In those moments, I'm not good at then pretending everything's okay.
Yes.
It sort of floors me.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
No.
Could be as simple as like, you've done a fart.
Yeah.
It's just not.
You don't want to.
How do you style it out? It's not great.
Yeah.
You got to have real conviction to get through moments
Yeah,
like that.
that is bad.
It is.
I did that the other day when I was in a lift, and I thought I was going to be alone in the lift, and then I let rip. and then someone joined me, and you're like, fuck. And then it's so awkward, and
It's
you
almost a
don't want to
cliche.
get out
So great.
sooner.
And
And if you get out too quickly, then you've locked them in it on their own with you.
And it's obvious that you did
so
it.
Obvious.
And you're on the wrong floor of
And
the
you're on the
building.
wrong floor. Yeah, that's not good.
It's really not good. Let's talk about your early days of TV, because obviously then you started to make this transition, which started off on Big Brother's Little Brother.
Yeah.
That was your first big live TV
Yeah,
gig.
yeah.
You're only 19 at the time.
Yeah.
And much like my early TV career, I mean, we're teenagers, you don't know who you are.
No.
You've got absolutely
Yeah,
no
yeah.
idea. I remember being maybe 16, 17, doing live TV. You're at an awkward age anyway, because you're kind of a kid, but you think you're an adult.
Yes.
And you're sort of, going between being like introducing cartoons to then drinking Jack Daniels out of a Robinson's orange juice bottle in the park kind of thing. Like you're just going between the two worlds. And I would just think, how would Zoe Ball do this? Because she is still my hero. And I would just be like, what would Zoe Ball say? How would she act? What would her body move like? And you're just trying to find who the hell you are.
Exactly.
How did you feel during that bit of your career?
Yeah, I was exactly the same, and it was weird because you were the same. Like we were sort of slightly growing up on television, and you're in that stage of your life where you're sort of trying to work out your own persona, not just your television persona.
Yep.
And I was definitely quite awkward in my own skin, and was trying to find like my own voice in life as much as I was my own voice as a presenter or a comedian. And so I was doing. E4 and Big Brother's Big Mouth and like various sort of Channel 4 shows as well, where I was there with a sort of spiky hair and affecting a Cockney accent because I didn't want to sound posh, and wearing the sort of skinny jeans and trying to act cool and like, I don't know, emulate other people that I'd seen on television as well, who,
I was trying to be less Cockney and sound a bit posher.
Yes,
I think is what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
What point did you think, I'm just going to lean into posh?
I think, I don't know when I did really. It was sort of, I tried lots of different personas on stage, and I'd done Cockney. I'd done a sort of Jack D tribute act where I'd done like deadpan one-liners, and I did a version of myself on stage where I came on in like a Parker jacket. I looked like Kenny from South Park and did like poems. It was like I tried everything.
What?
And everyone kept saying, "Oh yeah, you're a good writer, Jack, but you just haven't found your voice yet." I was like, "Well, what is my voice? Can you tell me, please?" And they were like, "It doesn't work like that. You need to find it." I was like, "Stop giving me fucking riddles. Just tell me what it is." And it led me to sort of finding, I guess, just a slightly more authentic version of myself. And then realizing that could be an angle, because I think as a comedian on stage you need a sort of some USP or some angle into all of the jokes so that you have like your own distinctive comic motor. And for me it was always about being young, and all of my material was about being young and how I was still living at home with my mum and dad. And then a sort of slow dawning realization that had a limited shelf life, and comedians would be like, you aren't going to be able to do these jokes forever. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to need to find a fresh angle. And then I sort of started embracing this like posh boy act, and realized that I could send that up and I could use that as a sort of route into all of the material. And then it was incremental. Like you can definitely see like the stages of it where the sort of the poshness begins to creep in, but there's still the odd Cockney affectation. I haven't quite like made the full shift into like the version of myself that I then settled with. But it was definitely a couple of years.
But like you say, you're doing that on screen and off screen, and it's equally as lovely, whoever's listening to this, and certainly I found this just in my actual life, to know who you are and to feel confident enough to just be that person. Because I think especially when you're doing a presenting role, if you get a critique, it's not necessarily about you're good at the job. People are critiquing you
as a person.
And your personality. And I've
completely.
historically found that really hard, and therefore there was too much weight at this end of the scale of like, what do people think of me? Do they like me? Am I a likable person? And that makes everything so impossible, because you actually end up diluting who you are as a human just so you're more palatable for as many people as possible, which ends up being exhausting because it's just you're constantly overthinking everything.
Yeah.
You're never going to please everybody.
Yeah.
So when you land on a level of comfort, just being yourself, and you're like, this is what I'm going to do, whether I'm in a good mood, bad mood, a quiet mood, an extrovert mood, I'm just going to show up as me. There is a level of relaxation to that because there's less effort involved, but it does mean then you've got to mitigate, you know, outside commentary with people that don't like you or don't like your act or your shtick. How do you deal with that in the same way that you would in stand-up, that just, people didn't like it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, like, it's something that I've got slightly better at. But you're right, when you're a presenter or a comedian, and it does, it's so much more personal, the critique, and it is like, it does feel sometimes like a direct attack on your personality. But the reality is that it's like a section of your personality as well, and that's what you, I guess, have to remember, is that you're presenting this version of yourself, which is the most, like, normally extroverted, confident, 100% version of you, and then you're in real life much more like multifaceted, and there's, you know, more kind of, I don't know, like nuance to you as a person, and that's not a part of you that they're seeing, and there's like a you know, a more personal part of you that you don't kind of show to the public, and that it is not being critiqued, I guess. But yeah, I probably started a little bit after you, but it was like, yeah, it was pre-social media. You'd have to seek out the negativity a little more. I'm
so glad that. I mean, I'm glad for you too that initiation was quiet. You know, we didn't have to deal with an onslaught of people going, "You're shit. I don't like you on the telly." We just did it, and if we kept the job, we kept the job.
I still found it though. I dig around in like digital spy forums to find some hate, like, which was probably quite useful for the world that we then moved into.
Yes, exactly. You're prepared.
I was well versed in finding it. I always remember I found a thread when I was doing Big Brother's Big Mouth about me being a terrible presenter, and then someone had done a sub thread on one of these forums saying, does Jack Whitehall have a glass eye? And there was a whole discussion about whether I had a glass eye or not, because when I read the autocue, it looked like one of my eyes wasn't moving. And I remember that, like, living rent free in my head for the next like 6 weeks. And every time I did something, I was like, and then obviously everyone was like, why does he look so weird when he's reading the autocue? Why, like, normal presenters just say it and he looks like he's actually reading it. And I was like, yes, because someone else said that my eye didn't move enough and I had a glass eye. And I was like, that's what I was like. And that was just like a forum. Imagine if Twitter had existed back then. It would have been a disaster.
It would have been on your Wikipedia page that you had a glass eye.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild. Yeah. But it's also mad how that shit stays in your head.
I know.
I bet if I said now, tell me one amazing thing you've run on Instagram about yourself, you couldn't pick
one.
one.
No, nothing. I wouldn't know anything.
No.
The glass eye comment. And Bob Mortimer strangling a cat. Like, those things will,
they stay in there.
Yeah, Mark.
It's so bad. Why do the shit ones stay? I hate it. I can remember stuff.
Human nature.
Like verbatim, remember sentences that I read. We used to have at Radio 1, you had Twitter always up because you were communicating and getting like material for your show. Yeah. But then also we had like a text index that would just be constant text messages. And I had to really watch myself becoming obsessed with that because it was just a live commentary of what you were doing on air. And I was on air for 3 hours every day. But I can remember like total one-liners that were sent in that just stay with you forever. They're like just quietly torturing me. Just here. It's the pits. We don't remember the good stuff.
No, you don't. And any praise that you read is just in one ear, out the other.
Yeah. But maybe that's a good thing. In one eye, out the other
glass one. And then it's gone.
But I think that's good. I'm always a bit suspicious of any feedback, good or bad, because I think if you're going to take note of the applause and the constant validation, you're naturally going to be looking for that negativity too. I think they come hand in hand. I think if you can just be almost a distance back from all of it, that's perhaps the most sensible thing to do. Because I think as soon as you start taking on praise seriously, that can be equally as dangerous.
That's equally bad, 100%.
Do you think you've had any moments of that where you've been like, a bit chuffed with
I
yourself?
don't think I get enough of it. So I think it'd be really hard to have had that moment. I don't think I've ever done anything where I've had a lot of praise.
Of course.
No, I don't think
have.
I've ever done anything where it's been like rave reviews and everyone says it's amazing.
I think, of course, when you've done like big stand-up shows or or the Brits, that's a hard gig. Everyone knows that. It's like Jack did a great job.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, no, well, maybe. Yeah, but I clearly haven't taken on
not
board
taken
any
it on.
of the praise.
No.
Because again, like, yeah, I've forgotten about it. But I love hearing about people where they go, I just don't read anything. And
I wish I was like that.
I wish I was like that. It would be so hard.
Yeah, I know. I still look on Instagram. Like, what are people saying? It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, we know we shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I know.
And it is sort of like a passing, fleeting thought in someone's head. They are not thinking about it at 4 a.m, 2 months later. They're just not.
Yeah.
But we are.
Yeah.
But it's hard to remember that.
But those people that are like zen about it and don't have a phone and don't look at anything, and I'm like, oh, that would be so great.
Wouldn't that be sick to be like Ed
being
Sheeran?
Capable of it. Ed Sheeran, yeah, he does that.
No phone. Daisy May Cooper.
Yeah.
No phone.
But they could have a phone. Everything they do gets praised. They should get phones.
They should get phones. They feel so good about themselves.
Yeah. It's people like us. We should get rid of our phones.
Exactly. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So there's obviously this constant desire for you to keep challenging yourself. We've seen that with certainly with Malice. That's a completely different role for you. You've just done a horror film. Again, you want to step outside your comfort zone again and again and again. What's that about? What is that drive? Because you could quite easily live in the comfort land of doing stand-up and going, like you said, no nerves. You step on stage, you've got a receptive crowd, you've got a fan base who will come to your shows again and again. What's the desire to keep stepping out of that comfort zone or moving further from it?
I think it's just to sort of, find interesting new challenges. I mean, I love stand-up, but the slight problem with stand-up is that you, like, I don't know, there's a bit of a ceiling to it. You can only do, I mean, I don't know, maybe that's not true. Maybe I could write an incredible show where I don't know, like, bare all and dig into, but I don't have that show in me at the moment. So maybe that's partly the desire to like find my challenges elsewhere. And with acting, I guess you can just have this amazing variety of projects and genres, and I can try and step into these projects that are very different, and that excites me. I do feel like as well, like, it's definitely not me wanting to completely turn my back on the stuff that I've already done, and I love doing comedy, and I'm would love to do another sitcom at some point or do a big broad comedy movie, but I think it's just the variety of it. That's the thing that really excites me about being an actor, is that you get this opportunity to play in completely different things. Also the fact that you're doing it with other people, I think is great. And the thing that I do slightly miss when I do stand up is that it is very solitary. Yeah. And I love like working with an ensemble of people and different actors and writers, and I love being collaborative, and I love the opportunity to get to do that when you step onto a new project and you form this little family and you go through the creative journey with them. I really enjoy that. I think with stand-up, increasingly I've been able to build a little bit of that, and I like working with a director, and I've got a tour manager that I always work with, and the same support act for the last kind of 6 or 7 years. So I have built a little bit of a crew, which I really like, and makes it so much more enjoyable. But I think being part of a cast is great. Like some of my favorite memories of my career have been doing things like Fresh Meat, where I was working with like 5 of my best mates, and we were doing this show and experiencing it together and living in Manchester basically like students whilst we were also doing the show. And it was amazing, and so many of the memories are because I was doing it with them and with people that I loved, and I feel so thankful that I had the opportunity to do something like that.
Yeah. Is there a big goal, like not an end goal, but do you have your sights set on, and this is where I want to be in 10 years? Do you ever have a plan like that?
Well, yeah, but you just can't really have one when you do this, because you're so sort of beholden to other gatekeepers, and you're just reliant on going and auditioning for something and winning work and getting cast in something, or someone giving you the opportunity to do something that you want to do. So it feels quite hard to like carve a career path or know where it's going to lead or what you want to do. I mean, I sort of would just be happy with more of the same. I'd love to be able to do another big drama on a streamer. It would be really cool to do something of the scale of Malice and the ambition of Malice, with like that quality of writing and working with those, like that level of creative that I'm like, you know, really impressed by and excited to go to work with. Like, I'd love the opportunity to be able to do that again. I'd love to be able to do another movie like Jungle Cruise, where I can, you know, be on a set of like a big studio movie and doing stunts and working with someone like Dwayne Johnson or Emily Blunt. Again, really exciting experience. So yeah, I'd love to be able to keep doing that, and it's just maintaining that.
Yeah. I mean, looking back to when you were, you know, say 19, starting out on TV and working out where you were going to go, what the route was, did you have an idea that if you reached a certain level of success, then you would feel differently about yourself, or it would boost your confidence, or that you would feel validated in some way? Or do you think you've always been quite level-headed about what success means?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that's definitely something that I'm sort of still in the process of like processing, I guess, is this thing that even when you get to the thing that you thought would be the sort of mountaintop and you'd be like, great, I've done that, you don't necessarily get that validation and that's that piece. So you're then just on to the next thing. It never comes.
There's another mountain.
There's another mountain that's bigger. And so, yeah, I sort of feel like I'm still probably in that period of my life where I haven't quite worked out, I don't know, worked that out yet for myself. And probably that's a longer journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you can sort of, you know, talk to people that are maybe a little bit older and have been through that experience and are sort of out the other end, and they talk about it retrospectively. But even them sort of talking to you about it, like, you have to experience it for yourself, I think, and you have to chase after everything, and realize that there are going to be things that you do in your career that you think are gonna I don't know, give you that sense of sort of closure, but that then they turn out not to.
Yeah. I sort of had like a mini version of it, I think, in my presenting career, which I sort of have abandoned temporarily. I don't know. I'm not really sure if I'm going back to doing any of that anytime soon, but I certainly haven't done it for a long time. And I think from that very young age, I would look at Ant and Dec and think, if I can just be like Ant and Dec, then I'm going to feel amazing and everything's going to be fine and all my problems will go. Not as reductive as that, but I definitely had that starry-eye syndrome of, if I can just be like Ant and Dec. And then I think, you know, there was times where I was doing loads of really exciting TV and hosting things and doing radio, and I was at points thinking, this is when I should be feeling like, yeah, I've done it, like I've cracked it, I'm successful, or whatever those dreams were back in the day. Yeah. And I think it was deflating to realise that wasn't going to happen. And if anything, I'm sort of on rung one of the ladder again now in a whole new thing, doing this and the Happy Place stuff and working out where I'm going to take it. But I think slightly differently, that I know even if this was like the biggest brand or podcast on the planet, I would still be me with my flaws and failings and issues, and like none of it would really matter. And yes, maybe like a few more important people would go, I'll come on your podcast, or how can I help you in business? But that's not because of me or who I am. It's because of the image that's projected out there. It is. I think it can be quite a deflating moment when you realise it. And I've had it like a mini version because I'm not in like the whole acting world. How much do you think fame plays into it? Because I think that's been the only, I guess, like the journey that I've been on with everything I've just said, right? So say if I get in a cab Or like, I had like a lovely electrician come and try and sort out my tumble dryer and washing machine at the weekend. And he was like, me and my wife used to love you on Celebrity Juice. Are you just chilling out now? And I'm like,
yeah, I know, that's,
God, I've never been working so hard in my life. Like I've never been busier.
Yeah.
But obviously what I do now is less visible mainstream wise. I'm talking to different people. It's a different audience. But it's your ego in those moments that gets dented. Nothing else. It's just your ego of like, am I irrelevant? Have I disappeared?
Yeah.
You want fame to be a non-event, like you're not paying it any attention. But then it sneaks in.
Yeah.
What's your relationship been like with fame?
I have moments like that because it definitely shows that I've stopped doing, especially because I've maybe curtailed like a degree of like the sort of end stuff that I used to do, like League of Their Own and things like that, which definitely means that to a certain audience I'm dead now. I've been pursuing other things, and maybe they're not watching those. So your man in the pub, I don't think is thinking that I'm as active as I used to be, and I've been reminded of that a few
horrible
times.
feeling.
What the fuck happened to you? Sometimes it's like really harrowing as well when it's a show that you haven't done for like a decade. I had that. We Used to Love You on What the Week. I was like, that got cancelled like nearly a decade ago.
Try when someone comes up and goes, I used to love Only in America. That was 20 years ago. 20 years ago. So you've not seen me on TV since? Okay, fine. No biggie.
Very grounding.
Harrowing. Very grounding. But, hello.
The kids as well sometimes, sorry. I have it. I was getting a salad from the Salad Project the other day. And the young gentleman were doing the dressing. He's like, when are you going to do another collab with the Sidemen? And the only thing he knew me from was a YouTube video that I'd done with the Sidemen. And there's definitely like a younger demographic where that is... I've only ever existed for this brief window of about 20 minutes when I did a YouTube video with the Sidemen.
Yeah, my
Again,
kids
humbling.
don't understand. What I do is completely boring and irrelevant to them. But one of my videos from this podcast, I don't know what it was on TikTok.
Yeah.
And my kids were like, "You're on TikTok? How are you on TikTok?" Like they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So yes, there are audiences that we're not tapping up.
Yeah.
But
it's great when you break through and suddenly you realise that no matter what you've achieved in your career, that you will have some friends. The most proud they've ever been of you is because you were a clip on Hunsnet.
The pinnacle.
The pinnacle.
Quite frankly.
The pinnacle.
But even on my journey from home to here, I think I saw your face looking menacing on 3 bus stops.
That's good.
Yeah, you're
That's
everywhere.
good.
Have you spotted yourself yet?
I've seen myself.
Yeah.
I've seen myself on some bus stops, which is always quite surreal.
Looking so mean.
Looking very mean and quite photoshopped.
Yeah. Are you?
I mean, definitely those jawbones have been tickled up. surely you can notice that in person.
Oh, so great.
Yeah, maybe I just starved myself when I was doing Malice and
in
looked
actual
a lot
world.
better. Yeah.
Where would you say your happy place is, Jack Whitehall?
My happy place, I mean, just because it was yesterday, like I love a Sunday lunch with Roxy and Elsie, and just being in England as well, because I spend a lot of time around the world, and just there's nowhere else where you can go and have that experience really, and just sit in a pub and have a pint of Guinness and have a Sunday roast with my daughter and my fiance, and that just makes me so happy. And it's like the thing that I look forward to the most when I'm away or I'm working away, and it's the thing that I sort of pine for.
I love a good Sunday lunch.
It's the best.
I cooked one at my house the other day. Everyone turned up at 1 to eat for 9:30. They left at 9:30.
9:30.
9:30.
Were you...
Arguably too long.
That's too long.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely too long.
Yeah, at about 7 I was like, I can't believe we're still here.
Were you doing some sort of passag clearing up? I mean, you've probably done the passag clearing up hours ago.
No, I left it till the next morning.
Yeah.
It was just one of those ones that went on. But again, love
Yeah.
a Sunday lunch.
Oh, it's so good.
Is your
And the one pint
Go on.
I've realised as well, it's like I've realised this as well as a parent now. It's like I appreciate alcohol in a completely different way. Like most of my 20s and early 30s, I was a binge drinker and loved just going out to get drunk. And now just the joy of like that one pint to take the edge off.
Yeah.
And suddenly like the tantrum is just that much quieter,
It's
and
the best.
everything is fine.
It's great.
And even
Yeah, because at 2, are we sitting in a high chair throughout the whole Sunday lunch?
we're sort of standing in a high chair.
Yeah.
We're chucking our food around. We're screaming. You know, we're getting a Yorkshire pudding in the eye.
Yeah.
But I'd had a pint, and I was just like,
Everything's okay.
everything's okay.
Everything's fine.
Everything's okay. And that doesn't exist. Like, that's the thing. Because I spent half of the year in America doing this show in America, and there's just not as much of that, like, pint culture, really.
No.
It's all
No Yorkshire
coffees.
puddings.
No Yorkshire puddings either.
I don't know what they are.
No,
I've got no clue.
no clue about spanners or Yorkshire puddings.
No, none of it.
Or day drinking.
No, exactly.
During the week.
We must educate them.
Yeah.
Jack, it's been so lovely to talk to you. Good luck with Malice and this horror film. It sounds awful. I won't watch that.
No.
But good luck with
Yeah.
it. And thank you for being on Happy Place.
Thanks for having me on. It's been great.